Earthen Goblet by Harindranath Chattopadhyaya. Chattopadhyaya was an Indian poet. And in this poem, he examines some important aspect of life, that is change. The common theme of this poem is also life. Life. Now here, in this poem, the poet examines this change of life through change of clay into a goblet. Change of clay into a goblet. What is a goblet? Goblet is some vessel or some vase-like object made of clay. Goblet. Used for drinking, storing water. Goblet. Now, goblet is made out of clay. The creator is the potter. You know potter who makes clay pots. Matiwalang nirmana shilpiyata tama api potter කියන්නේ. Now, potter makes goblet out of clay. What is his function? His function is to change clay into goblet. Change clay into goblet. Now, Chattopadhyaya says, even human life goes under changes. Various changes. Various changes, time to time. Various changes. Today you are a student. Tomorrow you will be someone else. A married man or woman. That is change. Today you are a girl or boy. Tomorrow you will be father or mother. That is change. Right? Change over human life is sometimes natural. Most often natural. Today you are a young girl. Tomorrow you will be an old woman. That is natural change. But some changes on life are not always natural. Now, for example, your parents change your school. You are admitted into a new school. ඉස්කෝලකට දානවා පරණකින් අයින් කරලා. අන්න new change එක. It's not a natural change. එක ස්වභාවිකව සිදුවෙන change එකක් නෙමෙයි. But some man-made artificial change. මිනිසා විසින් නිර්මිත වෙනසක් එක. Now in this poem, Chattopadhyaya examines how man-made, society-made changes affect life. How man-made or society-made changes affect life. Society bring about changes in your life. Right? Now society needs a doctor. Therefore, education changes you into a doctor. Society needs a teacher. Therefore, education or society changes you into a teacher. Right? This is man-made. Sometimes society changes your occupation. Sometimes society changes your way of living, right? According to its needs. These changes are unbearable sometimes, sometimes bearable, sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy. දැන් සමාජයේ විසින් ගෙනෙන වෙනස්කම් බොහෝ දුරට වේදනාව ගෙනෙනවා එහෙම නැත්නම් සතුට ගෙනෙනවා. Sometimes you agree with those changes, sometimes you disagree with those changes. Right. Now here, Chattopadhyaya manifests how society brings about changes on one's life through the transformation of clay into a goblet. Now that change is the potter. Potter represents our society. Society's forces, social forces, Samaj Balaveg. They are the changes. Sometimes this social change is your religion. Sometimes this social change is your culture. Sometimes this social change is your economy. Sometimes it's your politics. They are or your education. They are the social forces that brings about change over your life. Now let's read the poem. Now, there are two narrators in this poem, two speakers. One is the poet, the other is the goblet. The goblet is personified as a person who experienced a change over life. Now the poem is presented as a conversation, meeting between the poet and the goblet. The poet and the goblet. Now, goblet is also presented as a person. Now the poet stands before the goblet and questions about this change, because the poet wants to know how change affects human heart, even human body, physically and mentally. How change affects a person physically and mentally. That is what he wants to know. Therefore, he questions the goblet. He asks a question from the goblet. And the poem is that answer. Poem is that answer. කවිය අනගන ප්‍රශ්නෙට දෙන උත්තරේ තමයි මේ කවියේ තියෙන්නේ. Now let's read it. O silent goblet. Now he addresses the goblet. He speaks to goblet. This is really a literary device. We call it apostrophe. A-P-O-S-T-R-O-P-H-E. Apostrophe. Now in an apostrophe, the poet speaks to the goblet. Silent goblet. Oh, silent goblet. Read from head to heel. Head to heel means from top to bottom. Now goblet is, a fresh goblet is red. Because when clay is burnt, it becomes red. Oh, silent goblet, red from head to heel. Now his question, how did you feel when you been twirled? Twirl means turn. Upon the potter's wheel. Now the poet questioned, hey goblet, how did you feel when the potter turned you in the potter's upon the potter's wheel. Now, potter, I told you, potter is symbolic of society, right? Potter's wheel is symbolic of change in process, change in process. Before the potter gave you to this world, goblet, how did you feel when the potter changed you into a goblet from clay? Tell me what you felt. This is what the poet wants to know. How change affects human mentally and physically, body and mind. Okay? Now, the second stanza onwards, we find the answer to this question of the first stanza. Now, first stanza is really a question raised by the poet to the goblet. Now, from here onwards, the goblet answers the poet. Now, what does he say? Goblet says, I felt conscious impulse, natural feeling. I felt a natural feeling in my clay. Now here in my clay means his clay heart. It refers to the goblet's clay heart because goblet's original form is shape is clay. Now it is this original shape that is changed into a goblet. Goblet natural shape is clay. This natural shape is turned into an artificial shape. Now what is the idea? Now imagine you live a simple natural life, but society turns you into a man who lives very complex artificial life, right? That is change. Now goblet says, I felt a conscious impulse in my clay heart to break away, to run away, to escape from the potter's wheel. What is the idea? Write it down. This goblet never liked his change. This goblet never liked his change. This change is negative, not positive. This change is negative, not positive. From the great potter's hands that burn so warm, burning. Potter's hands were burning. What is the idea? That change was very unbearable and painful. Potter's hands were burning warm. Now, poet understands some changes are painful. Some changes are unbearable. Some changes are unhappy. Some changes. Goblet further says, I felt vast feeling of sorrow. I was very sorrowful. I was very sorrowful. To be cast means to be changed, to be transformed, to be made into my present form. What is this my present form? Goblet shape. Goblet shape. Now goblet open-heartedly says, I never like my present shape. I do not like my present shape, goblet shape. I like my natural shape, my natural life. That is the idea. I like my natural life, simple life, but I never like my present life, goblet life. I like my clay life. I never liked my goblet life. Now this change has been done against the goblet wishes. Society does not consider your wishes. If you like or not, society will change you. Like society, the potter changed clay into goblet. ඔබ කැමති වුණත් අකමැති වුණත් සමාජය ඔබ වෙනස් කරනවා. සමාජයේ එයට ඕන විදිහට ඔබ වෙනස් කරනවා. එයට ඕන විදිහට. ඒකට අපේ කැමැත්ත විමසන්නේ නැහැ. It's too unbearable, painful. Now the same thing happens to the clay. Potter changes as he wishes a lump of clay into goblet shape as he likes, as society needs. Now, Goblet further says, before that fatal hour means that change in process. Before that change in process that saw me a captive, I was a prisoner. During that dangerous moment, fatal hour means dangerous moment, I was a prisoner on the potter's wheel. Now, potter's wheel is a symbol here. What is it? Society is changing force as well as process. I was a victim of society's change in process, Goblet says. Captive, prison, victim, Godura, and cast into this goblet sleeve. And I was made into this crimson. Cast means made into this crimson. Crimson means red. Red goblet sleeve. Now, goblet sleeve is a sleeping goblet. Sleeping goblet. That is the literal meaning, but this is really a metaphor. What is the idea? A man without any senses. A man without any senses. A man or person who does not feel the world. Now Goblet is critical on his life. He says, I am a person. I am like a sleeping person. I do not feel this world. I do not feel anything. All of my senses are dead. My senses do not work. I am like a sleeping man. Before this life, now he compares or contrasts his present life with the past life. Before this change, now he says, before this life, I used to feel, I really enjoyed, I really felt what? The fragrant friendship of a little flower, underline. Fragrant friendship. Sweetness of friendship. Sweetness of friendship. Delight of friendship. Whose friendship? A little flower, another metaphor. Normally we put flowers into a goblet with water. Now imagine a flower. When I was a clay man, there was a flower in my heart, fixed in my heart. What is the idea of this flower? This flower means a beloved person, somebody that this goblet loved as clay. Beloved person. Now Goblet says, before I was made into a goblet, I had a strong relationship with my flower. Now I have lost it because of this change. That flower is no more in my heart now because I have no heart now. Society has destroyed it. Mm. Whose roots? Her roots. Her heart. Roots means that was in my bosom, in my heart. Bosom means heart. Deep, buried deep. Now Goblet says, I had a very strong, close relationship with my beloved person. Her heart was in my heart, but because of this change, I have lost her now. Now I am a lonely goblet. I am a lonely goblet because of this change. Right? Finally, he summarizes what happens to him because of change in a very nostalgic and sorrowful, disappointed tone. You see, last stanza. The potter has drawn out. Potter has taken the living breath of me, living life, my heart, living breath of me. Now I am no more living man. I am a dead man now. Because potter has changed, destroyed it. Society has destroyed my soul, my life, my heart, and given me a shape. A form means shape. Potter has given me a shape that is death of me. That shape is death, no life, no heart. Now this is the goblet present situation. In his clay life, he was very active, throbbing with life, full of feelings. He had a strong relationship with a beloved person, but in his new life as goblet, he does not enjoy, he does not have anything of the sort. He is just an empty person. Now we know goblet is an empty thing. Clay is not empty, clay is full. Goblet is empty, hollow. There is nothing inside. There are people like that. They are empty people. They have nothing inside, like goblet. Goblet like people in your society, in our society. They do not feel anything. They do not sense anything, any person. They are living like just dead bodies. They are living like just dead bodies. ඒගොල්ලෝ නිකන් ඇවිදින මලමිනියෝ වගේ. ලෝකේ දැනෙන්නේ නැහැ, පෙනෙන්නේ නැහැ, හිතන්නේ නැහැ ලෝකේ ගැන. Like goblet. Now, this goblet is worried about this change because he has lost his sensitive life, sensible life. My past unshapely natural state. Now, what is this natural state? Clay life or simple life, natural life. Anything is possible. Unshapely, it had no shape, but it was full of life, full of life, full of feelings, full of emotions. It was the best. I loved my natural life best. What is his natural life? Clay life. Why? He has a reason with just one flower. Now again he refers to that flower. It's a metaphor. A lover. Here flower means a lover. I had a beloved lover in my heart. Flaming through, living, giving me strong emotions, making me happy, flaming through my breast. Breast means heart. She was living in my heart. She was giving me life. Now I have lost that flower. I am a lonely person now. I am a lonely person now. Now, in this way, the goblet explains how this artificial change affected his life. This change is not favorable for him. He does not agree with this change because in this new life, he has lost so many things. He has lost his strong relationship with that flower. He has become a lonely person. He has become an empty person without heart. He has physical shape, beautiful shape. Outwardly, his outlook is beautiful, attractive, colorful, but inside, internally, he is empty. He is empty. Therefore, he does not like this goblet life. He appreciates his clay life, natural life, full of love, relationships, togetherness, affection, and all those things. Right? Now, Harindranath Chattopadhyay examines in this way how changes affect human life. Some changes are positive, some changes are negative. Some changes are agreeable, some changes are disagreeable, some changes are happy, some changes are unhappy. Whether we like or not, these changes will come upon us when we live in a society. When we live in a society, we cannot stop them. Right? That is the simple idea of this, the earthen goblet. The earthen goblet is a symbolic object or symbol of change, symbolic object of change in human life from one position into another position, from one moment of life into another moment of life. Likewise, there will be so many changes in your life until death comes to you. Marane එන්නකම්ම මේ වෙනස්කම් අපේ ජීවිතවල සිදු වෙනවා. Right? Until life comes to you. You cannot stop it. Natural changes as well as artificial changes. Now, I think you have some idea, understanding about Chattopadhyay's message of this or theme of this poem, The Earthen Goblet.